Hub on Hollywood, an iHeartRadio podcast. I'm your co-host, James Rojas.
And I'm Jamie Blanco.
On this week's episode, we talk about the best, worst Christmas movies there are. There are a lot of bad ones out there, but these bad ones, they are on our favorite list. Jim Carey, he's willing to put back on the Grinch character for a Grinch sequel under one condition. From Gladiator to Beetle, it's a bird, it's a drone, is it Santa Claus? We have no idea, but we're trying to get down to the bottom of that. All of that and more. But first, Jamie, let's talk about the movie that everybody is talking about right now. No, it's not Wicked. No, it's not Gladiator 2. No, it's not... What's that other movie that just came out? Moana 2.
Yeah.
It is Kraven the Hunter, the latest spiderless universe movie of this entire disaster attempt. First of all, were you planning, hoping to see Kraven the Hunter?
No, not at all. This is a textbook movie that did not need to be made. All of the trailers looked awful. It just looked so ridiculous and forced, tremendously forced. I had zero hopes, zero expectations for this movie. And tell me how right I was.
You are 100% right, because even though Kraven the Hunter is one of the best villains in all of comic book history, and one of, if not the most dangerous villain for Spider-Man, not even he can defeat movie critics because they are tearing this hunter to shreds. So right now, Kraven the Hunter only earned around $2 million for its Thursday preview, and it's only expected to make $15 million or less during its opening weekend. Not great for Sony, especially because this movie cost around $110 million to make. If you add marketing on top of that, that's around $200 million for this film. I think this is the final movie in the spiderless universe, and it's about time.
So is it you said, Sony. I don't know. Where do you think they went wrong, James? Because I know where they went wrong. Where do you think they went wrong with this?
They went wrong without Spider-Man. They went to make a Spider-Man villain universe without the hero, without the main protagonist. So that was already a big mistake. They also made a mistake of not letting Marvel play with these characters and bring them into the actual MCU, where Sony could have, they could have swallowed their ego, swallowed their pride, and let Marvel, MCU, build out this universe, and they would still get their cut. They'll still get a big percentage of that money, but instead they're like, you know what, we're going to make our own universe without Spider-Man for some reason. And it failed as predicted.
Oh my gosh. But you know why I think it failed, James? Besides not having Spider-Man, which is one of many nails in this coffin. Gosh, have you seen the previews? Like, this character is completely inhuman. Like, he's so strange. And it's a classic case of telling and not showing. It's like, he is the ultimate hunter. Weird pose. Look at me. I'm so strong. I'm such a hunter. And he hunts people and I'm hunting people. Like, it's just so forced, almost campy, but not in a fun way. Like, we were trying to be serious, but we didn't know how to pull off serious way. And you've got this guy in this ridiculous outfit who has no real human emotions, or you can't connect to as a human being, because he's just a character, a two-dimensional character. And he's got the pretty face, and he's got, like, no dirt on him. Like, he's out here fighting animals and in the woods and killing people, and he looks like he just walked out of wardrobe. Like, he's got clean face, clean hair, clean clothes. Everything looks like a costume. And everything is just like, it's all telling, not showing. And it's just silly. It just looked silly from the beginning. It was a silly idea. But how do movies like this get made? Like, there's so much money that they pump into these things. Like, they should be making our ideas, James. We come up with great ideas here on the Hub on Hollywood.
We do, yeah. And the thing is like the original plan for Spider-Man 3, like the MCU Spider-Man with Tom Holland, rumor has it was that they were going to, and the Marvel MCU, they wanted to have Kraven the Hunter be the main antagonist for the third film, which would have been amazing because, again, the Kraven and Spider-Man, one of the best comic book stories out there. Like, he is, spoiler alert for people who don't know the comics or whatnot, but Kraven kills Spider-Man. And then that leads to a whole bunch of other stuff. And so imagine that kind of storyline where you have this super popular version of Spider-Man going up against Kraven the Hunter with the character building, character arc, and character development that the MCU often brings to these comic book characters and bring them to life. Imagine that kind of movie. Instead, they couldn't get Kraven. Sony would not let them have him. And so they went with the whole multiverse of madness kind of route, which, people, they enjoyed, but and we got we got Andrew Garfield, we got Tobey Maguire out of it, which is great. But imagine if Tom Holland would have been able to get his own awesome, epic movie, epic trilogy that he deserved. And that would have been amazing. So Aaron Taylor Johnson, he plays Kraven the Hunter. And, from what I hear, he does the best that you can do with the writing that was given to him, the script that was given to him. But everything else, it's a lot of action with no emotion, no stakes, nothing really behind it. It's just a veneer of entertainment. So not surprised. They are expecting to make less than Madam Web did in Madam Web's opening box office weekend. So not good overall. But if you watched Kraven the Hunter in theaters, let us know. Leave a review in our comments. We are at Hub on Hollywood on all the social medias, on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook. If you are listening or watching us on YouTube, comment down below and let us know what you think about that or why you're not going to watch the movie. I really want to hear your thoughts on this.
Tell us why you hate it.
Tell us why you hate it.
Why it sucks.
Now, this movie I didn't hate, but, like we said in our review last week, Gladiator 2, we were both kind of lukewarm on it. Like, we both had higher expectations, hoping for more. There was potential there. But, it is what it is. Paul Mescal doing his best. I think he may have been miscast, but, he did a lot of great action stuff. But he's moving from Gladiator to Beetle. Did you hear about this, Jamie?
No, tell me.
So, Paul Mescal, he has been announced that he will be playing Paul McCartney in a Beatles biopic. Oh. Yeah. Which I think it works. I think the resemblance is pretty close. Plus, Paul is a singer of sorts. He got to start on the stage, so he knows how to sing, and he can carry that stage performance. Yeah, I think translate that to the film. I think this is a good pick.
The two Pauls. Okay. Yeah. Well, I think he's definitely more handsome than the original Paul McCartney. I'd be interested to see him. What's that?
No shade against Paul McCartney, though.
No shade against Paul. He's going to come for me now. But no, you've got the two Pauls. I would be interested to see how Mescal looks in, like, the mushroom cut, right? Yeah. And if the girls are still swooning and throwing themselves before his feet, if he's got the mushroom cut going on. Is he going to be doing his own singing? I know you said that he is a singer, but I wonder how much singing he's actually going to be doing.
Yeah, I think if Austin Butler can pull the Elvis songs and sing them himself, I don't think
Well, that's cool.
Then I think Paul will have no problem singing or playing Paul. Here's the kicker, though. So the director is going to be Sam Mendes. He's done a lot of amazing work already, so he's a great director. But he's not only directing one Beatle biopic, not two, not three, God. But he's directing 4 Beatle biopics. That's because they're having each movie focus on each individual Beatle.
Oh
So
my God.
there's going to be a culmination. This is going to be a Beatles Avengers moment where all the members of the Fab Four, they're going to unite. And then that's going to be, I'm assuming it's going to be maybe a fifth movie where they all assemble and do their thing. But what are your thoughts on 4 individual Beatles movies focusing on each individual singer?
It sounds like a lot of work.
That is a lot of work.
For Mendes there.
Yeah.
I presume that's going to be over the course of several years, right?
6 months.
I'm kidding. If these are feature-length films. Or is this like a mini series, or these are actual feature-length films?
Full feature-length films. Now,
well, that means Mendes has secured work in showbiz for like the next decade. So good for him.
Now the question is, will he wear a wig or will he keep his hair in that bold cut kind of look? But here's my thing. I think they've already cast the perfect Beatles already. They just need to bring those actors back. And you may remember the movie Walk Hard, starring John C. Reilly.
I don't know that one.
No? Oh, no. Watch Walk Hard. It is a hilarious comedy, hilarious movie. Kind of a spoof off of Walk the Line, the Johnny Cash biopic with Joaquin Phoenix and Reese Witherspoon. But this is so much better because if you watch Walk Hard before watching Walk the Line, you feel like Walk the Line is a parody of Walk Hard. That's how amazing this one is. But in that movie, they cast the Fab Four, and they had none other than Paul Rudd playing John Lennon, Jack Black playing Paul McCartney, Justin Long playing George Harrison, and Jason Schwartzman as Ringo Starr.
How do I not know this exists?
I recommend watching the movie, but you can also just YouTube the Beatles in Walk Hard and just watch that section because the resemblance is uncanny. For those who have watched it, I think you'll have to agree with me with that. So there's that. Something to look forward to.
That's great.
Yeah.
I have one quick question.
Yeah.
I have one quick question. James, you are a lovely singer as well.
No,
if you could
not.
embody,
you lie.
What's that?
You lie.
No, it's true.
Okay.
If you could embody anyone, right, and star in a feature-length movie about this singer, if you could embody a singer, who would it be?
It has to be a real singer?
I mean, it could be whatever.
Not like a singing character?
No.
Okay. If I could embody one singer, that I could try to do justice?
Yeah.
If I was... I would have to be lip-syncing it, but I would do Vicente Fernandez. If I could lip-sync, I would do that. Or wear the giant sombrero, wear the cowboy getup. I think it'd be that'd be amazing.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll be pitching that next. We'll get that screenplay going.
Jamie, who would you play?
Who would I play?
Yeah.
I don't know. I mean, so many of them have already been done and done so well. Gosh. Can I be like
Lady
new
Gaga?
Selena's? Selena's perfect, but what's
Selena
that?
would be cool.
Yeah,
Lady
Gaga.
Gaga.
That'd be cool. Yeah. Okay, we'll go with Lady Gaga because I could wear like all the fun get-ups and the hair and the makeup thing. Yeah, that would be cool. Let's do Gaga.
Well, speaking of get-ups, hair, and makeup, that's a perfect transition to our next topic, Jim Carrey. So Jim Carrey, he's doing the press run for Sonic 3, which I'm a fan of this, and this third one looks really, really good. But he's doing his press tour, so he's answering questions, and he got asked if he would be willing to do a sequel for The Grinch. I love that movie, love that version. And he said he would be willing to do it, but under one condition, Jamie.
Okay. What is that?
He does not want to go under hair and makeup and all that stuff because he has been vocal over the years of how torturous it was to not only every day sit in a chair for hours and hours, putting up all that makeup, putting on the suit. It was hot. It was itchy. The makeup, they layer and makeup, layer of makeup. They put in contacts, like green contacts on his eyes that were extremely uncomfortable. And he does this all day. Not only does he have to endure hours of putting it on, but then endure hours of acting and trying to put on an actual professional performance. And he actually talked about, he inquired like a torture expert to learn how these, prisoners of war, how they went through torture and managed to not lose their sanity. Like, that's like
Wow.
real. Like, that's how bad it was of an experience it was for him. So he says he's willing to do it if he was able to do it with via mocap or with CGI. Because, now they can do miracles with that kind of stuff. And so he would do it under that condition because he would not want to endure all that again.
Poor Jim Carrey.
Yeah.
It can be truly, truly torturous. People think, making movies is all glamour and fun, and no, man, they work hard.
It's hard.
Everyone works so hard. But speaking of, you've mentioned that The Grinch was one of your favorite Christmas movies, right?
Right.
I want to know, James. Inquiring minds want to know, what is your least favorite Christmas movie? What is a movie out there that what are you the Grinch of? Like, what movie are you the Grinch of that you despise, that you would steal Christmas presents from, that should have never been made, maybe doesn't embody the spirit of the season? We need to know. What do we need to avoid?
I respect the technical technique or skills and everything that was used to put this movie together or these series of movies together, but I am not a fan of the claymation movies like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, the Snowman one, the Abominable Snowman. I guess that's still the Rudolph one, but like those, like I just start getting sleepy, and they are of a different era. And as a kid growing up, like, yeah, you watched it, but then like year after year it's back on TV. I'm like, I can't watch this again because, one, all the characters are really mean. Like, I know that's the gist of Rudolph's story, but like everybody's just like, as an adult watching those movies, and coincidentally, Rudolph was on TV last night, so I watched a little bit of it, so that refreshed my memory of like how much I'm not enjoying this. I respect the technical nature of the skill of using the claymation and all that other stuff and whatever. But like, I can't. You cannot pay me enough to make me watch those series of movies with the elves and the reindeer and all that stuff. It's a little.
Come on, those are
past
classics. That is a hot take.
But yeah, that is a hot take. What about yourself? Which is your least favorite Christmas movie?
I've got to tread carefully here because there are so many great movies that people love, that they watch every year for, their entire lives, and there's a lot of great stuff to pick from. But there are also some notable stinkers here. I think one that people reference quite often is the Star Wars Holiday Special. Where Chewbacca...
I've never seen it fully.
No, so it's one of those things where it's so bad it's good. It's Chewbacca and Han Solo. They're trying to get to the Wookiee homeworld of Kashyyyk to celebrate Life Day. And they are impeded by several, things, and there's various forms of entertainment. There's just, it becomes like a variety show, and it's quite cringy. If you haven't seen it, you can see it online, probably on YouTube, and things like that. But one movie that I would probably never watch again, even though most people might enjoy this movie and might not care as much, perhaps, but I don't think it aged very well, is Look Who's Talking Now.
That's a Christmas movie?
It is set during the Christmas time. And so it's, right, if you remember the original Look Who's Talking, it was the baby, John Travolta. By the time we've gotten to this sequel, which aired in 1993, now the dogs are talking, the babies are talking, the mom loses the job. I just think that the mom and dad are a terrible couple.
Yeah.
They should not be married.
Isn't Bruce Willis the voice of the baby?
Is he? It is possible. But I always thought that like John Travolta and Kirstie Alley were like a terrible couple that shouldn't have really been together. And then you just bring the babies and the dogs into it, and it just doesn't. And then Christmas and all of that. No, I just think that that's maybe one that people should pass. And people do pass because they probably forgot that it existed entirely. But in general, movies that are more focused on like the commercialization of Christmas tend to rub me the wrong way. So yeah, you might want to avoid those.
Yeah, let's see. I guess Bruce Willis isn't. Oh, he is. He's a voice of Mikey in the first one, but maybe not in the second one. Danny DeVito's in the second one playing a voice. I don't know which character he plays, but that's weird. You know what still holds up is Three Men and a Baby. That one holds up very well. Ted Danson, Tom Selleck, and Gutenberg. What's the name? Something Gutenberg. But that holds up very well, especially just recently having a child in the past year and a half. A lot of parental jokes that you can enjoy in that film.
There's a ghost in that movie. Did you know that?
There is not a ghost. It's been
There's
debunked.
a ghost!
It's not a ghost. It's a picture of Ted Danson. It's a cardboard cutout of Ted Danson's, one of his movie characters or stage characters. It's like cut in half, so it's like folded. It's it's been debunked. It's a very nice, funny rumor or like myth, but unfortunately,
I like ghosts
we come
better.
here to the Hub on Hollywood for facts, and we have to hold each other accountable. I know it's not fun.
Boo on facts.
Well, let's talk about. We will talk about this weird kind of drone situation in New Jersey. But before I forget, because I forgot this topic, did you hear about Malcolm in the Middle, Jamie?
I did, thanks to you, and you were freaking excited.
It's amazing. I loved Malcolm in the Middle. Fantastic show. Again, that's another show. If you go back, watch episodes or clips of it, it holds up so well. And, again, experiencing it as a child, you understand like many things through Malcolm and his brother's eyes. As an adult, you see a lot of things through the parents' eyes. And it's one of those things where like it transcends different generations and ages, where everybody can find something funny, relatable, and enjoyable about that show. And so they just announced Frankie Muniz, Bryan Cranston, and Jane Kaczmarek. I think that's how you pronounce her last name.
Yes.
They announced they are coming back for a continuation, a new season of Malcolm in the Middle to see where everybody is after all these years. It's coming to Disney Plus, and it's only going to be on for, I understand, 4 episodes. So only 4 episodes, kind of like, again, updating us to where everybody is in their life. And I cannot be more excited about this. So, yay, Malcolm in the Middle. I love this
That's
news.
awesome because Freddie Muniz, he was out of acting for a long time. He's a race car driver now, right?
Race car driver, musician. He's in a band, was in a band. So he does a lot of stuff, and he made so much money from Malcolm in the Middle, from Agent Cody Banks, from Big Fat Liar, and all these other stuff that he was in, that he made so much money that he was like, you know what? Like, I don't need to do this anymore. I want to pursue my my other interests and hobbies and live my own life. And that's so great to see him because a lot of child actors, they either, maybe involuntarily fade from the spotlight. He chose, you know what, I did my thing. I want to do something else. And he had the opportunity and ability to do that while still intact. So really cool. One thing that's also really cool is that Frankie Muniz has said that Bryan Cranston, again, he played Hal, his dad, on the show, like periodically checks in on him. Like through all the years since the show ended, Bryan Cranston just calls him up like every several weeks. And like, hey man, how's it going? And I love that relationship that they have. Like that father-son thing continued well beyond the show.
TV dad.
Go Bryan Cranston. Good
and
for
talk
him.
about range, right? Because I think most of us knew Bryan Cranston from this show, Malcolm in the Middle, and then we've seen his work since in things like Breaking Bad. I remember Breaking Bad when it first started. I'm like, oh, it's the dad from Malcolm in the Middle. Like, this is going to be dumb, this is, and then it became what it was. So I'm excited to see Bryan Cranston in anything now. So, woohoo! Go Frankie Muniz!
Yeah.
That's wild. That's wild. You know what else is wild, James?
What's wild, Jamie?
The apparent alien invasion we're in the middle of.
Yeah, what's going
Is that
on?
what's going on with the drones?
Yeah, so apparently there are numerous reports of unmanned aircraft. These sightings reported all across New Jersey over the past several weeks. So many reports and so much concern has grown from this that even the White House is investigating this. Many talking about how these large drone-looking aircraft were seen flying near sensitive areas like reservoirs in New Jersey and also military installations. Right now, the White House, they say they're looking into it. They don't believe. They don't suspect or have any reason to believe that these are coming from any other country, like an adversary of sorts, but they are looking into this. But Jamie, when you hear about this story, what goes through your head?
What goes through my head is that what bothers me about this story is that they're not identified objects, right? And even the government's like, we're not sure what they are. And they're popping up everywhere, and now that hysteria is kind of spreading. There have been some reports of those kinds of objects being spotted over Massachusetts as well, right, in our area. So that, of course, leads me to only one explanation: aliens. Aliens, yes, right?
Clearly.
So, James, I am here to provide a public service.
All right.
I feel like us here on the Hub on Hollywood are very well situated to get people ready for the alien invasion that is apparently inevitable. Okay?
Please.
Since
we need this.
We are just going to conclude, or that's what I am going to conclude that it is. James is a reputable reporter, right? He has more dignity than I do. So,
I have my theory. I'll explain my theory at the end, but yeah, go ahead.
Okay. But I have recommendations for you. There are two scenarios, right? Either they're friendly aliens or they're not friendly aliens. And I have the quintessential list of tips for survival for each of these situations brought to you by movies. And we're going to start with friendly alien invasion movies, okay, James?
All right.
I think that the number one friendly alien invasion movie that is probably the most realistic would be Steven Spielberg's 1977 masterpiece, Close Encounters of the Third Kind. You've got Richard Dreyfuss, who was abducted and he's getting these subliminal images and telepathic messages and having these metaphysical experiences. And then, eventually the aliens come down. It's all these little alien people, and they're bringing back all of these abductees. They're communicating with sound and vibration and telepathy, right? And the little spacemen and or children. I think that is the first movie you gotta watch, because I think that's how it's all gonna go down. And if they're friendly, it's all about the vibrations, having good vibrations, and, just communicating our well-being towards them. They'll communicate their well-being towards us, and I think it'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Arrival is another great one with Amy Adams playing a linguist who helps to communicate with an alien spacecraft that has landed again via sound. So that seems to be like the thing. If you're like a musician or into audio or whatever, like you got to find the right frequency to communicate. Like that's going to be your go-to. Okay, we're going to be communicating via frequency and telepathy. This is how we're going to do it.
Excellent.
Okay. Then we've got E.T.,
of course,
the extraterrestrial, which teaches us to have Skittles ready, have candy available.
Not Skittles.
No, weren't they Reese's Pieces?
The Reese's Pieces.
There we go. Have
we
your Reese's Pieces.
Food. Food is a love language.
Yes. It is a galactic love language.
Especially chocolate.
All right?
That transcends space and time.
Exactly. I think they're here for the chocolate. So
I think so too.
Chocolate at hand, ready for that encounter, so that you can lure them into your closet and have a little pet animal friend. Something. I don't know. Don't
weird,
listen.
But the way you framed that, but yeah, that's fine.
if they're funny aliens, right, we're going to need material for that. I recommend checking out Mork and Mindy, going back, checking out that old TV show where Robin Williams plays the alien, right? How wonderful would that be if it was just a race of Robin Williamses that was here to put a smile on our faces? So I think we should just be ready for that.
Sure.
Watch Mork and Mindy, have some Robin Williams content available, make jokes. And my last recommendation is to just, what if they're hot?
Oh, goodness.
Earth girls are easy. Jeff Goldblum starred in that one. Jim Carrey, right? Jim Carrey, Jeff Goldblum. One of the, I forget the last one, teaches us that aliens can be chill and cool and also hot. So we should just be ready to party if that is the kind of alien that we get. But
I thought you were going to say, have you seen the movie Species?
Yeah, I'm getting to those. I'm getting to those.
Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, because sometimes they're not nice. Which brings us to our not friendly alien list, okay?
But also hot.
But also hot. Right.
Yeah.
And you could probably speak to this, James, right? Okay, so Species, what do you think we would learn from a movie like that?
To not trust attractive women?
But
right? I don't know.
I guess.
You tell me.
Right. If they look like the chick from Species, no. But if they look like Jeff Goldblum, yes.
Okay.
That's
fair.
That's the metric.
Okay. That's fair.
Communication is key, right? But sometimes there's no chance of communication. Movies like Alien, right? And all of the subsequent ones, and Signs. It's no chance of communications. Find their weakness. Just, and grab things to stab them with. Fight for your life. Be smart. Signs teaches us to just try anything in order to find their weakness. Throw water. That's the first thing.
Always
I guess we
keep a
got to
glass of
try.
water nearby, either for aliens or just for self-hydration.
Right.
Always good.
Right. Mars Attacks teaches us to watch out for handshakes.
Yeah.
Because their hands might be able to detach and stab us. If they're going then
and
watch
not to
out.
Go to Vegas during an alien invasion.
And ultimately, finally, at the end of my list, James, and then I'll let you chime in on some of these because you know way more about the horror movies than I do. Independence Day.
Yes.
We will not go quiet into the night. You just need to have that playing in the background. And again, you need to have Jeff Goldblum.
Yeah, and Will Smith.
And Will Smith. To
Bill
punch aliens in the face. He's great at punching still, apparently. So you're going to want to have
great at
Will
slapping,
Smith.
I know that.
That too.
That too.
So basically, Jeff Goldblum is the number one thing that you need in the event of an alien invasion. Whether they're friendly or not friendly.
Yeah.
That's what you got. So James, you know more about the horror alien movies. Is there any takeaways there that you would like to share?
Well, the top tier horror alien movie and our biggest threat would probably be John Carpenter's The Thing. The Thing that can imitate absolutely anybody and transform into monstrous.
Oh,
What's
gosh.
that word?
Yeah.
Terrible nightmare fuel that can only be killed potentially with fire, potentially.
Okay.
But, that's like worst case scenario because I think they had done in movie, they did like a study, they used a program and they said, if the thing escapes from our Antarctic compound and it spreads to other parts of the earth, like it would just like kill everything and everybody within a couple of years.
Oh,
and
geez.
that's like, moving from one species or one object or thing to another, to another, to another. And its infiltration skill, its ability to mimic and infiltrate anybody or anything is its biggest strength. And it's just the horrifying thing. And so if that were to happen here on Earth, I don't know what you do. You just shoot yourself into space, I think, and hope it doesn't reach you.
You would watch The Hub on Hollywood. That's what you got to do.
You would watch The Hub on Hollywood in space. Really quick correction, because again, like I said, you come to the Hub on Hollywood for facts. It's Bill Pullman in Independence Day.
Oh, there we
That's
go.
who you want to go to.
There we go. Yeah.
So, that's a good list. Covering all the types of potential aliens that we would ever have to encounter. I vote for E.T. alien. That would be nice. That'd be very sweet. He can help float things away, maybe dishes from the dishwasher into the cabinets. That'd be cool, I think.
Yeah.
So, let us know what you think. What do you think the drones are? My theory, wrapping this up, my theory about the drones, it's a military project. It's a military aircraft, military drone that, of course, the White House, the military cannot publicly talk about.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things where, like, the B-2 stealth bomber, when those things were first being seen and flying over the desert and people were reporting UFO sightings, the government was like, oh, we don't know what it is. We'll look into it. And then it turns out it's a stealth bomber.
Yeah.
So
they know.
My theory is that it's government related.
Yeah. My husband pulled me down the stairs. I'm going to throw him under the bus while I was on a phone call earlier. And he's like, "What's that in the sky? What's that? Look, zoom in. It's spinning." And I'm like,
I remember that.
It's Venus. It's like it was a planet that was really bright. No, this happened today. Before we recorded. But before that happened again. It was the Elon Musk,
Starlink.
the Starlight satellites. He's really jumpy. He's really jumpy.
Did you send me that video? I forgot if you sent me that video or if I saw it on Instagram, but you were like, what is that? And like the straight line of satellites.
Yeah.
Like all white dots. And to be fair, Jamie, you're not the only one to have that same reaction. But yeah, if you see a string of white lights flying across a dark, starry night, that's just Elon Musk dispatching his satellites around the globe. I'm sure for good and only good things.
Right, and not spying on you at all.
Absolutely not. Well, Jamie, this is a great episode, but let's wrap up with, we are still in the here's my second theory, my last theory about the drones. It's Santa Claus. It's Santa.
Oh, yay!
It's Santa.
Yeah, that's right.
Solved it. He's out scouting locations.
There's a lot of naughty people this year. So
especially in New Jersey, apparently, because he's lingering over New Jersey. He wants to make sure his list. He checks it twice. So he wants to make sure if people are naughty or nice. But that brings us back to our final topic. Let's wrap up with our favorite worst Christmas movies. The worst of the best of the worst. And this one, my pick. I enjoyed it so much as a child. There was a big, long gap in between seeing it as a child and seeing it in recent years. But I think it holds up for what it is and for what the filmmakers and the actors were going for. And this is a comedy, a Christmas movie that doesn't take itself too seriously because it knows what it is. And that movie is none other than Jingle All The Way, starring Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Oh my God, I picked that one too.
No, you did not.
I did pick that one too.
It's having a resurgence in popularity. I think people are visiting that movie once again and saying, you know what, that movie wasn't as bad as I remember. It's good. It's it's not perfect. It's very what's the word? How do you describe this movie?
Nostalgic, consumerism.
Nostalgic. Not only that, but I don't know. It's slapstick. It's very slapstick and silly, and it works. For those who are unfamiliar, who haven't seen it, or it's been a while since you've seen it, Jingle All The Way, it's about a father, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger, who vows to get his son a Turbo Man action figure for Christmas. However, every store is sold out, and he must travel all over town and compete with everybody in order to find one intact. This stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Sinbad, Jake Lloyd, Phil Hartman, Rita Wilson, and Jim Belushi. So many fun facts about this movie. What's your favorite thing about this movie?
The end, where they're like at the Santa parade and
it's Turbo time.
Yeah, Turbo, exactly, yes. He dresses up as Turbo Man or whatever, and he has to fly around, and it was a great climax. It was a great climax for a movie. Uh-huh.
So did you know that Sinbad wasn't the first person that the studio was going for to play the rival of Arnold? It was actually going to be Joe Pesci.
Oh, that would have been fun too.
Because it would have been fun, but he had just done Home Alone, so he was playing more of these like silly Christmas themed movies, and so they figured, Joe Pesci would be a great foil, a villain quote against Arnold. But Arnold was saying, you know what, I want Sinbad. Because, Sinbad, he's very funny, of course, but he's also very tall. And so they wanted somebody that could, like physically kind of compete with Arnold, even though they didn't really, they did fight, but, not in that kind of sense, but compete with, they're the same kind of stature.
Right.
They're both competing for the same thing, for, a toy for their child. And Sinbad, he felt that, having somebody who's known to be family friendly, to be funny, people could sympathize more with this character instead of somebody maybe like Joe Pesci, where they're like, oh, this guy is just an evil, cranky jerk. We really don't want him to win. Sinbad was somebody that you could also understand, where he is coming from and have some fun with him and, feel some sympathy and empathy for this character, and which I think he totally made possible, made that reality. So that was great. Jake Lloyd, of course, most well-known for being Anakin Skywalker in The Phantom Menace. He was in this movie. One of my favorite characters and actors in this film is none other than Phil Hartman, who plays the neighbor who's constantly trying to seduce Rita Wilson.
Yeah.
Put the cookie down, and he's just hilarious. Like, my wife and I will quote, or at least I will quote every now and then, where he and Rita Wilson's characters are in the house, they're just talking, and then they hear people singing outside, and just the way he goes, carolers, and just runs to the door. It's just so funny. Just Phil Hartman is hilarious, and everybody's perfect in this film. So this one, rewatch it. We already have in Casa de Rojas. We've already watched this film again, so I'm sure we will probably one more time before Christmas is over. But Jingle All The Way, a movie that deserves recognition after all of these years.
Absolutely. And I'm with you on that. It's one of the ones that my family watches every year. Well, my aunt watches every single year. You don't, you can't go wrong. It's a great one for the next generation to be discovering, especially for that epic ending. It's good
this
storytelling.
One, I would support they did make a Jingle All The Way 2 starring Larry the Cable Guy. Not great, but it would be funny to see Arnold come back for an official sequel, and I think he would do it just because he said that during filming of this movie he had the best time of his life. He thought everybody, because they filmed in Minneapolis, they filmed at the Mall of America, they filmed, of course, Universal Studios for the parade area, but he had a blast filming this movie. So I think this is one that he would be more than happy to return to or come out of semi-retirement for. So
he could be like the grandpa,
Yeah.
This time around. That would be great. Yeah. What movies do you guys watch every single year? Do you think deserves to be watched again by the next generation, or coming up? What's a diamond in the rough classic that doesn't get enough love?
People think it's bad, but it's not.
Right. Let us know in the comments down below so that we can all partake and we can all share in your ideas and just have a very merry, jolly holiday and all of that jazz, James. Because that's what we bring on the Hub on Hollywood. We bring joy.
Absolutely. And you know what brings us joy? All of our followers and subscribers. Right now, at last count, I think we're at 305. We broke 300 subscribers on YouTube last week. Thank you so much for that support. Comment down below, join the conversation, hit that like, hit that bell, and keep tuning in for the Hub on Hollywood. A New England film industry is booming, so we want to keep you up to date with what's going on there. But what's also important is for those of you who are listening to us on any of the major podcasting streaming services like iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. For those who do listen on Apple Podcasts and Spotify, leave us a 5-star review. It really helps us out. It helps us, get more, gets us into the algorithm of sorts and gets us exposed to more people, especially if you leave a review as well. So please do. We would love to give you a shout out and give you the praise that you deserve for tuning in and watching and listening to Jamie and myself. So Jamie.
Jingle
Merry
all the
Christmas.
way.
I may not see you into the new year, but for everybody else, I wish you guys have a happy holidays and stay safe out there. Let us know what movies you're planning to watch and how you celebrate. And tell your friends about us. Maybe they'll like to tune in every now and then as well.
Exactly. Subscribe, like, have a great holiday, and don't forget, buy a gift for that alien overlord who might be coming soon. Because that's just...
So he can spare you.
That's right. So love to everybody. Merry, Happy New Year, and we'll see you next time.